task voice. Let's welcome our guest.
Bloating, straining, and fullness? Oh my. Get ready for gentle solutions as Angela Fischetti, a physical fitness, yoga instructor, and licensed massage therapist specializing in wellness for older adults, leads gentle yoga for constipation. Please click like to help Be Green with Amy. Welcome, Angela Fischetti.
Greetings, Green Warrior, and welcome back, Angela.
I'm so happy to be back, Amy. I cracked up with the announcement. Just Test Voice did such a great job. I was like, she acted it out and everything.
Yeah, I think she did. I think that's what's in a lot of people's minds today. And hopefully the people that are tuning in, Green Warriors, I hope that this is going to be very helpful to you. I know it will be, because Angela is such an expert in everything, exercising and body. So she's going to really help us explore the benefits of gentle yoga for constipation. And she's going to help you find natural relief and improve your digestive health. Angela, what do you want to say about constipation?
Well, I think I'm so pleased that you brought out talking about a natural approach to dealing with it, right? So oftentimes if people don't exercise and do purposeful movement, things can lie stagnant. You're not getting movement and helping the act of peristalsis help you with digestion and moving things out of your body. Also, it's important to eat a plant-based diet because the natural fiber there, and I'm not talking about stuff in a bottle, you lose all the nutrients this way. The natural fiber from the fruits, the vegetables, the high water content of the food all makes that act of motility a lot kinder for you. And also, you want to check in on your sleep, because if you don't sleep very well, it could be an issue also with constipation. And if that's the case, I would definitely look into a little bit more medical advice from that perspective. But with yoga, there are specific types of movements that enhance the act of motility and peristalsis. My preferred food for you, if you must eat like an hour before, would be any type of melon, but especially watermelon. High water content. So I hope it helps.
That's so nice because I think that would be a question that people would ask.
Absolutely.
Let's start.
It's time for True or False on Be Green with Amy Live. Answer true or false to Amy's questions in the comments below, and Amy will ask our guest for the expert answer.
Okay, so this is yoga, and there's a word that we use in yoga called a posture. And we're going to ask you a question about the three major categories of yoga postures that positively affect constipation are standing back bends, standing side and supine on one's back face up, and then total body stretches. Wow, they sound like they'd probably be pretty effective. What do you think, Green Warriors? Type in your answer. Even if you're on Instagram, you can go ahead and type in your answer there. And while you are all doing that, we are going to ask Angela to give us the answer.
Well, it is, let me tell you something. In general, it's actually true. In general, because it gets the body moving. These postures all get the body moving. But if you're really looking to impact more localized areas, in particular, your large and small intestines, so the small intestine and the large intestine would be the colon, then these are the suggested postures or movements, I should say. So anything that allows you to forward bend. So I'm just going to take it here. I like to sit in seated wide angle. So anything that puts compression on your abdomen. So therefore, a forward bend, it could be a standing forward bend. It could be a seated forward bend. But as long as you've got compression going on here, it will be helpful. The other thing that you can do, well, I'm just going to keep this simple, but show you, would be any type of seated or supine on your back face up, twisting posture. anything that's going to put compression on both the ascending and the descending colon. It's kind of like in yoga, we like to think of the twisting postures more from an Eastern philosophical approach, a perspective, that if you've got a lot of mind chatter going on in your life, you got a lot of stuff, right? You do twisting postures to bring you back to center. But also from a physical perspective, it's kind of like twisting postures are wringing out the colon. And then the other movement that you want to do is hip flexion. Now, hip flexion could be done standing. So maybe, you know, when you're standing up and you're pulling one knee up off the floor toward the chest, though that knee is bent, that has nothing to do with the colon. It has to do with the lifting from the hip, getting that femur bone to push up. It's a form, again, of compression. But something simple could be when you're on your back face up. I just want to make sure you can see everything. Well, you could just pull your knees into your chest, right? So that's Pavana Muktasana, which is wind removing pose. That could be done standing as well. So those are the movements. I just want to check one other thing. Yeah, one other one, because I was forgetting something. You want to be on your belly. Again, this would be face down, prone. And let's say something pretty simple. I'm going to do just maybe this Sphinx pose. So I'm on my belly. There is some compression in the lower half, right? You can even do something, folks, when you're just lying down on your floor. It could be like this gentle, modified cobra. Something very simple. But all those kind of movements, you're going to see, we're going to incorporate them. But from a it's not like any kind of crazy thing. I might tie in a little bit of, okay, if you want to level up, then you can try this type thing. But the whole premise is to get people who are really brand new to this, to do the movements to help them stimulate the whole abdominal area, the abdominal organs and intestines. But then to also understand that it's important to relax them too. So you'll see how we incorporate that into the class as well.
Well, that was wonderful. You know, I keep thinking of like a tube of toothpaste or something, and and you're trying to get that toothpaste out, and maybe it's at the end of the toothpaste, and you're just trying to squeeze it out, and all the ways that you would contort it, and that's kind of like what you're doing.
Exactly. That's exactly what you're doing, but you just want to be knowledgeable about, and I'll point it out, what areas of the body are working and stuff.
We have another true or false. Here we go. The act of peristalsis, which is the rhythmic wave-like contraction of the digestive tract that forces food through it, is benefited by twisting postures. What do you think, Green Warrior? True or false? Okay, tell us about that.
I kind of gave this away, but yes, it's very true. It's very true. So I have a quote here, all right, word for word, from the Cleveland Clinic about peristalsis. It's the automatic wave-like movement of the muscles that line your GI tract. It moves food through your digestive system, beginning in your throat when you swallow and continuing through your esophagus, stomach, and intestines while you digest.
Okay, well, there you go, from the Cleveland Clinic. Okay, we have one more question, and then we're going to be letting Angela show us all these wonderful poses that we can do to help relieve gentle yoga for constipation. Okay, true or false? The descending colon connects the transverse colon to the ascending colon. Okay, tell us about that, Angela.
I'm going to show you that you're seeing this side of me as my left side, but this is actually my real right side. Okay, so I'm going to show you from my real right side, and you do that, and I want you to put your hand on your body on your real right side. So we begin from the cecum, then we travel up the ascending colon. Then we go across the transverse colon, to the descending colon, sigmoid colon, and then out the rectum. So it travels this way. The question I presented was the opposite way around. So yeah, technically that transverse colon, you know what I mean? You got the ascending on one side, the descending on the other. But the way the question is worded, it's worded incorrectly when it's pertaining to the anatomy.
Well, these things are anatomy is important to know.
Yes,
When
that's
you're
right.
thinking about constipation, because if you know which way everything travels, then you know what you need to do to coax it along, right?
That's right. And let me tell you something. I'm going to give you folks a little tip, massage therapy tip. You can self-massage. When you're lying down on the floor on your back, follow that track and you do little circles, but right underneath, like you want to get close to the ribs and you follow up and all across. Now, what we really do in massage therapy is we'll move some of it, and then let me just think for 1 second, because I want to move some of it. And the higher I go up, I then go back down to move it again. And then I go back down to move it again. You see how I'm incrementally bringing it up and over, because I'm clearing the path to eventually get it so it's from here and you're connecting all of it and you're making these circles underneath your ribs to go down and out. So it's, and eventually it's more like this. And then you can even do a gentle fingertip or palming just to relax it and encourage it. You don't want to sweep together like this. You want to go down and not touch to come across, down, oh, come out, and then back to the body to give that self massage. But you build it up little by little. It's not a real fast thing that I'm showing here. It's a slow thing. Take your time, especially if you're really having problems with this, and drink your water. Stop drinking your soda because it can give you constipation. Drink your water. You want softer fecal matter. You don't want hard as a rock.
Yeah, exactly. And it's when you were talking about that, I was imagining again, like if you had a tube of toothpaste and you didn't squeeze it from the middle or something, and there was some on the bottom, some on the top.
Right.
You would kind of lay it flat and you would kind of push it along to kind of coax it, and that's kind of what you're talking about. And you don't know, you could do this maybe when you were laying in bed.
Sure.
The self massage.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because
absolutely.
It could be that some of the people that are watching may not be able to get down on the floor or get back up from the floor.
Right. So definitely. You can
be relevant.
You can self-massage. I wouldn't tell you to do the yoga practice in your bed, but I would tell you that some of the movements can be done in bed. A couple of them can be. We are here for gentle yoga for constipation relief. And the accessories we'll be using today will be a sticky yoga mat. It's pretty simple. Also, I have a couple of yoga blocks, as well as I have my strap is an 8-foot strap, yoga strap. I prefer them because they are long, and you can look for 8 or 10 feet straps. And then I have a couple of folded hand towels out. Now, I'm going to go right into the precautionary measures and medical disclaimers. And I'm going to begin with why I have these hand towels. So if you're medicated or not for hypertension, have vertigo or GERD, when you're on your back, supine, face up, all right, I would like you to have, just like this, a small hand towel folded. I don't want a big, thick beach towel thinking higher is better. It's not, because it'll throw off the cervical spine of your neck, unless, of course, you must go very high because you might be in an active state of vertigo. And if you were in an active state of vertigo right now, I would not be participating in this. Let it settle. Let it settle before you even, do the work. So that is for that. Now, for some of you with knee issues, particularly flexion of the knees, so I am going to be in postures where the knees are really compressed. So I'm just going to show you here in this position. This is called a seated wide angle, Upavishta Konasana. For some people, when they sit down like this, they do this. Okay. And you're going to see men do this a lot because they're tighter at the lower back and their hips are tighter. So if that's the case, if you're sitting like this, number one, get a block, put it underneath your butt and sit up taller because you'll be able to sit higher and your legs from the hip joint, the hips will release and you'll be able to elongate out to the side. But you still might be like this. All right. So that just means the hamstrings are kind of tight. So all we do is take the towels, fold them up, and put them underneath each knee. I want your joints supported. And this is the way you can do it and still be upright and sitting on a block. The other thing, too, that you can do for these issues is you can take, with this kind of pose, that really long strap. And for those of you with spine flexion issues, all right, where you've been told not to bend down and pick up something, well, I'm going to be doing spine flexion in class. So for this pose, which in a moment I am going to go into spine flexion for you, you hold on to the strap with your bicep muscles. That means every time you bend your elbows, you're pulling from the bicep, not from the shoulders. So I'm pushing the legs down and out, pushing out through the heels. The strap is more or less closer to the balls of the feet. So you work on elongating your spine, sitting tall and erect, and your spinal erector muscles will really appreciate this for you. Let's see, the other issues that might be involved with spine flexion would be osteoporosis of the spine, but not exclusive to it, right? And also the postural deviation known as hyperkyphosis, where we're a little hunched in appearance. I need you all to follow doctor's orders, please, and stay upright. Now, if you are medicated or not for hypertension, have vertigo, GERD, you know that you need a towel underneath your head when you're on the floor. But when you're upright like this and you're doing the work, even when you're working out on your own, please avoid this position of your neck. It's a forward flexion of the cervical spine. I don't know what it is, but a lot of people like to look at their, like, let's say I'm looking down because I'm standing and I want to look at my feet. Why? You know where they are. Keep your head up. Your body, your spine will appreciate this. The more you look down, folks, the more you're going to keep doing that in the aging process. And it almost always lands down. All right. So the idea is when I'm out there fitness walking out, I was going to say on the beach. It's been a long time since I've done that. But outside in my community here where I live now, when I'm fitness walking, my head is up. My eyes are down. I'm just focusing the eyes down and out, down and out. So you can survey your terrain because, yeah, if we are older, I'm going to be 67 and I don't want to fall. You know, so yeah, I want to scope my circumstance to be safe. So you folks with those issues, keep the head chin neutral. Now, conversely, for those of you when we do back bending, right, because we're going to be on our belly and we're going to do some back bending, you want to be careful because we love to hyperextend the neck. Now, be mindful that the neck is perfectly capable of hyperextending, but not if you've had a transient ischemic attack, a TIA, or a stroke. You folks also, please keep the head neutral. And for this kind of pose, where my legs are nice and wide, right? Well, if you have osteoporosis of the hip, or you've had hip replacement, you may have been advised not to bring your hips out wide, your legs out wide apart. Please follow that advice and you will be able to do it by just bringing the legs closer together, comfortably closer together. So I think we covered them all. Amy, what I've mentioned here are a bunch of different like chronic health concerns, right?
Yeah.
So it is very important for the viewing audience the hearing audience, because I know you are in podcast audio format as well. And you want to make sure that I lost my train of thought when I said that about the podcast show. I was
Because they
thinking
can't, because they can't see what we're doing.
what we're doing, right? So that's why I'm saying it and repeating it to people, because I want to make sure that that audience who doesn't see me doing this right now, I want them to make sure they understand. You have to, for some of you, you've just got to keep your head neutral, and you'll offset a lot of issues. So I'm ready to go here with you. The presentation of the class is broken down into 3 sections. We have a seated section, and then we have a section where we're supine, face up on our backs, and then a section where we are prone, down on our bellies. So let's just come here. I want you to come into any seated position that is comfortable for you. And I just want to take a few moments to center in with you, to connect with you as such. And I'm just going to rest my hands on top of my thighs, palms up. And I'm going to close the eyes. And in yoga, we gauge our efforting through the sound and quality of our breath. So we inhale through the nose and exhale out the nose. And taking your time doing this several times. Letting go of the stuff of the day. And now slowly open the eyes, relax the arms. And if you want to take just a couple of nice big shoulder rolls up, back, and down. Now, from whatever seated position you are in, I invite you to come here now into the seated wide angle Upavishta Konasana. When I'm sitting up, I place the hands underneath the buttock flesh. I pull it back and out wide toward the shoulders. Then I'm going to rock a little bit from side to side. And all I'm doing here is connecting with what we call in yoga the sits bones. From an anatomy perspective, these are the ischial tuberosity. So I want to make sure I'm sitting up and forward on the front edge of the ischial tuberosity, because otherwise, this is what can happen, is that slouching, collapsing appearance. Now, to help you with this, I'm going to show you how you can use blocks. I'm going to back up a little bit because I want to see if I can't try to stay fully on camera here with this. So I'm going to bring the blocks out in front, and I'm going to start on level 3. So with the blocks, we have level 1, level 2, and level 3. I'm going to take everybody up to the highest level. And all I'm doing here is using the blocks shoulder width apart. I'm pressing down to lift my chest up and forward, to push down and out through the legs. Now, what's happening is I'm lengthening the whole posterior side here, right? All the way from the Achilles tendon, the calf, the hamstring muscles, up into the glute, even affecting the lower back, stretching the hip adductor, ADD muscles responsible for bringing us in toward the midline of the body. Now, for those of you who can do the forward flexion, I'm going to slowly walk the blocks out in front, and I'm pushing down to lift the chest up and forward. Now, if you have the flexibility, you take the blocks down to level 2. So I think you could see a little bit here that's still on camera. I'm pushing out through the heels, belly button is in. And then maybe you have the flexibility to bring the blocks down to level 1. Now, Amy, could I ask you a favor? Would you be able to just could you remove the banner for a second when you bring the camera picture larger just for a moment? And then if you could show yeah, because I want them to still see where level 1 is. Thanks, Amy. Just for the moment. If you want to bring any banners back, be my guest. So now I'm going to open up the blocks because I'm going to bring the hands down. At this point, you lose the hands, but you know what's happening. So it's all about lifting the chest up and forward. I don't think about doing this, folks. It's not the deep dive with the head and rounding. It's got nothing to do with getting you closer to the floor. In fact, it's pulling you further away. So I'm just slowly but surely extending out. And here we go. Here's my compression on the abdomen. Breath in and out through the nose. Breathing into the back muscles. And understanding that every time you breathe, you're massaging the abdomen. And then I'm going to slowly walk it back in. Take your time. Notice the chest is lifted. I'm not all rounded. And now from here, let me get these out of the way. And let's draw the legs out in front and just kind of windshield wiper the legs. Now for the next one, I'm going to sit a little diagonal for you. And I'm bending the knees and bringing the soles of the feet together, but about a solid 1.5 to 2 feet away from my groin. So we're bringing them like so, holding on to the shins. Now, this is what can happen, right? Well, I want you to use those strong biceps that we work on to pull that low back up. Notice how you get to puff up your chest, depress the shoulder girdle. And if you see, my back isn't stick straight. There's a subtle, tiny lumbar curve, and that natural curve is a lordotic curve. It's the same curve that's in the cervical spine of the neck. Now, if you want to stay here, that's fine. I would certainly suggest that for back spine flexion issues. But for the rest of us, I want you to bring your hands underneath your ankles, taking a hold of the tops of the feet. If you can't reach the feet, that's okay. The belly button is in. I've got a lot of compression on both ascending, descending colon here. Now inhale, lift the head and the heart. I'm pushing my elbows to the floor, using my biceps to bring my chest forward. For some of you, this might be really nasty on the neck. So let me grab a block and show you what you can do is like so. Hold on to the block and bring your forehead to the block. This way you don't have to stress your neck. Now, I have to tell you, this is excellent for the SI joint, the sacroiliac joint. When you break down that word, you realize, the sacrum, the ilium, this is at the back area, the low back and hip, where they meet each other, the hip bone. And I'm just pulling the heart forward. Breath in and out through the nose. This is diamond pose. My gaze is out in front. Then inhale, turn the palms down. Exhale, slowly come up. And I'm going to support myself by bringing the knees together. Now from here, I want you to bring, this is an upright approach to Pavana Muktasana, wind removing. I'm going to wrap my arms around. Now, what if you have those knee issues? Bring your feet further out. Forearms underneath your knees. Grab a hold of your elbows that way. You'll still get plenty of compression on the abdomen. So inhale, lift the head and the heart, depress the shoulders. Exhale, lower the forehead toward the knees. I don't want you to I got to really hit my knees. I don't care about that. Just relax the head. Breathing in and out through the nose in yoga. And then inhale, lift the head, belly button pulled in. Exhale, alter the grip of the elbows. Inhale, lift the head and the heart. exhale, lower down. Inhale, lift the head, and on the exhale, I'm going to bring my legs out in front. My knees were really compressed, right? Hyperflexed. So I'm going to extend out from the knees and push the calf flesh, the back of the upper thighs, the back of the lower legs down towards your ankles. Let's open up the connective tissue with the knees, right? And then I'm going to give it a little shake, maybe windshield wiper in and out. And then from here, what I'd like you to do is you're going to keep your right leg, your real right. This is my left, yeah, but I'm mirroring you. So your right leg out in front. I want you to bend that opposite knee and place the foot on the floor. Then you place the sole of the foot up against the inner thigh. Now, what if you have knee issues here? You take that towel and you wring it out like it's soaking wet. And then you bring it in and tie it around. You don't have to tie it, just wrap it around. And then you go into that position of the flexion of the knee. This way, with the towel, you'll open up the meniscus and the ligaments at the knee joint. For us who are choosing not to use the towel, I still want you to do a little bit of a little hack to open them up. So I'm going to slip the hands in behind the knee crease. One hand on my thigh flesh, one hand on my calf flesh. And I'm pulling and rolling the calf and the thigh flesh away from each other. When I sit, I want to think I'm pulling right hip back, left hip a little forward, challenging for females, by the way. And I want you to think about bringing the left shoulder, left side of your body toward the right big toe. Those of you with flexion issues, use your strap, stay upright. Otherwise, for the rest of us, I'm pulling the right buttock cheek back as I lengthen the torso forward. I'm going to bring the block over because I'll show you how you can use that. Inhale, lift the head and the heart. Exhale, lengthen to pull. Seated head to knee pose is also known as Janu Shirshasana. Also excellent for the kidneys, spleen, and liver. Really great for that posterior leg and thigh. Yes, calf, hamstring, up into the glute and back. So I'm using the block at the sole of the foot to give myself a little more length. If you're particularly flexible, I have the block at level 2 here now. Left shoulder in the direction of the right big toe. So on your right side, this is the ascending colon we're going after. And breathe. And then inhale, I'm going to lift the head, lengthen to come up, maybe even reach the ceiling. And then exhale, hands to the heart in namaste. Now, I want you to take this with your leg out a little bit, just an inch or two. I readjust the seat because I want to make sure I'm squared off, right hip back, left hip forward. Now, when you go to do it, there really is a subtle twist here. Left shoulder toward that right big toe. And I'm going to reach out. And then maybe I'm going to, with my right hand, grab my left wrist and pull that left side over. Belly button pulled in. Breath in and out through the nose. Toes stretched wide apart. I feel it all the way up to the gluteal. And then inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, facing forward, hands to the heart in namaste. Now, I'm going to take this to the next level. This is not for beginners, but if you're flexible enough, try it with me. So hand underneath the knee. First off, let's give the knee a break. See this? I'm pushing the calf flesh down toward the foot just to reopen everything. Also taking off the cat hair while I do it. okay? And he is with us in spirit right now. And so I'm going to bend the knee. Now for the next level, I want to get my arm underneath here, lift the leg, and bring it up and over my shoulder. My right hand grabs the outer arch of the left foot. I lift up, brace myself with the left hand to lift. Now, guess what? That descending colon is getting some activity here from your own thigh. So that's how you can level it up, so to speak, if you're ready to do that. And then we gently lower down, going into the next posture. I'm going to begin right here because those of you with, it's going to be a twisting posture. Those of you with osteoporosis of the spine may have been told, not for you, very little twisting. So for you, you put your foot to the inside, take the opposite hand, go underneath the leg, wrap around your thigh this way. So if you choose to participate in a subtle twist, this is how you make sure you keep it tiny, okay? Because you have to turn and twist in real life, right? If I'm sitting at my kitchen table and I'm doing, I'm passing the salt and hopefully not, passing whatever, the seasonings, and it's a little bit of a rotation. If I'm washing dishes at my kitchen sink, I'm doing this kind of thing. So we want to keep you functional with the movement. We don't want to go beyond your range of motion for the twist. Otherwise, we're crossing over. For some with knee issues, you can keep this leg straight out. You could also sit on a block to help your back. But for those of us who don't have the knee issue, then we can tuck the opposite foot around to the outside of this glute, not underneath the glute. A lot of people do that. We want it to the outside. I'm going to vigorously wrap my right arm around that outer thigh, and I'm going to hug it in, holding here. And then inhale, I take my left arm up, externally rotate it. Exhale, cup the fingertips to the floor. Inhale, push down into that left foot and the left hand. Exhale, turn and twist. This is Ardha Matsyendrasana, half spinal twist, half fish pose. Now, I'm going to bring my arm to the outside of that left thigh, and then I immediately internally rotate from the shoulder, slip the hand through the window of the leg. Hello, Amy, waving at you. And then bring the opposite arm around. You can bind at the fingers. You can bind at the wrist. Sitting tall. This is a ginormous stretch to your lateral rotators of the gluteal. If you are not in an active or acute state of sciatica or piriformis syndrome, this is excellent for you. If you are in an acute state, don't do it, okay? Holding here, breath in and out through the nose. So in order to stretch a muscle, you do the opposite action of the muscle. The words were lateral rotators. I'm in a medial rotation right now. And then inhale the head forward. Exhale, torso arm forward. Take your counter twist to the other side. Inhale, come all the way up. And exhale, hold just for the moment. And let's release the legs. I'm going to bring them out in front. Both knees were bent. And we need to do some of this to the other side. So we're going to begin now with Janu Shirshasana, seated head to knee. So we bend the right knee first, then sole of the foot to the left inner thigh. Want to make sure the hips are straight forward. Pull that left hip back, draw the right hip forward. Don't forget if you need your towel for your knees. Otherwise, hands slip in behind the knee crease, one hand on the thigh, One hand on the calf, pull and roll the calf and the thigh flesh away from each other. Hold here. Use your strap for spine flexion issues. Remember, head up for medicated or not, hypertension, vertigo, and GERD. Let me grab a block here and show you with level 3 with the block. Stretching out that posterior side of the leg and thigh. Stretch the toes wide apart. Belly button is in. Breath in and out through the nose. Janu Shirshasana. And then inhale. Pull the torso up, arms up. And exhale, hands, namaste at the heart. What namaste reminds me to do physically is to lift the chest up into the thumbs rather than collapsing. So it helps me keep the sternum, the breastbone lifted. When the breastbone is lifted, so is the lower back. It's not collapsed. Now we're going to take the leg out a little bit wider, not a lot, right? Again, just double checking. Hips straight forward, butt flesh back. Here's that concept now. We're tying in a small but a definite twist. Right shoulder, right ribs toward that left big toe. Walk it out. Pull. Left hand's going to grab the right wrist with the palm forward. My hand is in a mudra, a hand gesture. I'm uniting the tips of the index fingers to the thumb tips in chin mudra, the union of the individual to the universal soul. Breath in and out. I do love the concept that we come together to share our yoga practice with each other. Yoga means yoking, union. And we have Amy to thank for the platform to which we can share it. Inhale and exhale to the heart. Support out in front for those who want to level up to the next level would be like so. I have to show it on this side. That's it. Yep. Okay. And we're going to lift it. Thank you, Amy. And we're going to push out. So remember, we're bracing with the right arm, pushing out through that right heel, pulling with the left arm. But we're getting into that side of the colon, holding here. And let's set the foot down. Now remember, those of you with your issues with the twist, you would bind it. Hold a moment. I just want to check something. Yeah. Okay. So those of you with twisting issues, you come here before you take your full twist because we want to keep it minimum for you. For the rest of us, we can cross on over. And if you have a knee issue, keep the leg straight out, ankle lined up to the knee, lined up to the hip joint. If you need to be up on a block, you stay on the block. And tuck it over. I'm bringing it very close into my torso, right up, snug as a bug in a rug, right up against me. I take the arm up, inhale, externally, laterally rotate from that shoulder joint, exhale, fingertips, pushing down into the right foot, the right hand. Inhale, lengthen spine, exhale, turn and twist. And then if you want to take it to the next level, elbow wedge to the outside, internally rotate it, breath in and out. And sitting tall. Now, if you want to level up this thing, you would hold on. I'm holding on to my wrist or your fingers, right? You can clasp. Lift this leg. So it's just another level. That's all it is. And breathe. And then inhale, head forward. Exhale, lower the foot down. Inhale, bring the torso forward. Lower down. Exhale. Inhale, come up. Exhale, hold. Now let's bring the legs out. And I think I just messed up my sequence a little bit, Amy, but we're fitting it all in. I did it on both sides, right? Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep, I believe I did on both legs. Yes, we did. Okay, so I just had interchanged the two on that one side, but we got it all in and pushing the calf flesh, shaking it out. All right, now we're going to come on to our backs. So there's 3 ways of coming down onto the back. Holding on, you can come down onto one elbow at a time. Set up a towel. For those of you medicated or not for hypertension, have GERD or vertigo for this, by the way. Another way is to hold on to the back of the thighs and kind of like do a reverse abdominal crunch coming onto your backs. Or legs straight out in front, pointing down. I'm going to move up a little bit this way and bring the toys a little closer. If your back feels really strong and you're stronger abdominally, you can do this with the legs straight. Your feet are what's called plantar flexed. They're pointing down, arms out in front. Then you do a reverse abdominal crunch to come onto your backs. Once all the way down here, I'm going to just scoot a little bit forward this way. And let's come into Pavanamuktasana, wind removing pose. And there it is, compression up against the abdomen. And just even this little rocking side to side incorporates twisting. And just hold here for a few moments. I'm going to move some of the toys away. And we're going to come into happy baby pose. So you dorsiflex the feet, soles of the feet toward the ceiling, grab a hold of the outside edges or the outside arches of the feet. I bend the elbows to the outside of the shoulder, or outside of the ribs, really. That's a bit more accurate. Outside of the ribs, pulling with the strong arms. And then I rock side to side. So you can even see, I'm going to hold here for a beat. I'm definitely into both sides of the colon here, but it's also a really nice way to open up your back too. And then from here, I'm going to come into the reclining wide angle, Supta Konasana, opening up the legs like so, pressing the lower back down, breathing in and out through the nose. Beautiful to open up the adductor muscles, stretching. It's a sort of like a secondary type of stretch to the hamstrings. And then from here, I'm going to point my toes and bring the legs straight up. Holding here, now I dorsiflex the feet, stretch the toes wide apart, puff up the chest, and I'm telling you now, this is all working. This is deep core stuff, deep to the transverse abdominis, which is just below the belly button. This is the internal girdle, internal corset. This is called Viparita Karani, legs up the wall, no wall. It's a little harder this way, right? And by the way, before you go to bed at night, it's a great way to cool down, not this way, but go up against the wall, and then it's restorative. This way, it's muscular. There's activity here going on. It's excellent position for depression, for insomnia. It does help with that as well. And it's one of the few inversion poses you can do with hypertension. And now I'm going to bend the inside knee to set that foot on the floor. I'm going to pull the outside knee toward the chest with the foot dorsiflexed. Place the ankle across the top of the thigh, or really it's the lower part going toward your knee, right? And This is a position that could be considered contraindicated for osteoporosis of the hip and hip replacement. So you do need to find out if you can do this or not. Some people are cleared for it, but I don't know who is or not, right? So now I'm going to bring my right knee toward my chest, slip the outside arm through the window of the legs behind that inside thigh, and the inside hand to the back of that inside thigh. As I pull the knee in, I use the outside elbow to push down into the inner thigh. So I'm pulling and pushing simultaneously, as you will find exists often in yoga, is oppositional movement. This is Supta Kapotasana, reclining pigeon. So my left arm is into one side of the colon, right? Hold, or I should say the outside arm is into the colon, and the forearm as well is really pushing as I pull in. Hold here. And then this is also a ginormous stretch to the lateral rotators and the gluteus max in particular, more so than the lateral rotators. And then I'm going to slowly lower this foot down, bring this back into the chest. And again, more abdomen compression or pressure on it. So I'm going to now straighten the leg. And you can stay like this, or you can straighten the opposite, push out through the heel. Take my peace fingers, wedge them between the big toe and the second toe, and pull. This is Supta reclining Padangusthasana. And pardon me, Hasta Padangusthasana. Hasta means hand. So when you read Padang, it is regarding big toe. And then asana, which is posture. It means posture. Hold here, lengthening through both heels, but yet I'm lengthening away from each other. Then inhale, bend the knee. Exhale, bring the opposite knee in. Hold for the moment, and let's gently rock from side to side. Get that little bit of twisting in while we can. And we're going to take it back to happy baby, rocking. And then we're going to open out into the reclining wide angle. And move the block. Hold there. And then we're going to bring the legs up. Holding here in Viparita Karani, legs up the wall. And breathe. And then we lower the outside foot down with the knee bent. Inside ankle across, dorsiflex. And then we bring it in. Inside elbow pushes into that inside thigh, pulling on the outside thigh, bringing the knee toward the chest. Ankle slightly higher than the knee. Both feet dorsiflexed. That inside bicep muscle, because the elbow is bent, I don't want the shoulder up into the ear. Push it away. Breath in and out through the nose, just taking your time with this. Because if you're very nervous about something, your body's going to shut down and you're not going to be able to void. And so we just try to get you to calm down a little bit. Breathe. We're going to lower the foot down, bring the opposite knee in, and extend. And ditto the opposite side. Peace fingers, big toe, second toe, so it's in between the two. Pull and push. Breath in and out through the nose. Yeah, I'm feeling it. Then we bend the knee. Bring the opposite knee in. This time, what I'd like you to do is arms out from the shoulders. I'm going to move over a little bit so that not too much of me is cut off for you. And I'm going to turn my head in one direction, drop the knees in the opposite. But I'm going to do this dynamically because for some of you, this is not pleasant. And I do not want anything to happen with the low back. So we want to just keep moving through it. And this will just encourage more movement here. Another way to do this, maybe this is just too much for you, okay? That could be just too much of a range of motion. You put the feet on the floor like this, and you can continue, just drop the knees. So you see that it's a smaller twist? Why not? Now I just got a nice spine adjustment doing that. You can do it with the palms up, whatever makes you feel better. I'm going to stop here at the center. I'm going to show you one more on my back and then just a couple on the belly. I'm going to bring the knees in. Lift those legs back up. Now, I'm going to cross right thigh over left thigh. Bend the knees toward the chest. Now, for some of you, both feet are going to be dorsiflexed. You can hold your ankles, but I'm going to grab my heels. And this is Supta Gomukhasana, reclining cow face pose. You see all the compression here on the abdomen. Now, if we want to really play with this a little bit, because this is definitely lateral rotators and gluteals as well, I'm going to just a little bit tiny twist in the opposite direction. And welcome to more of the gluteal there and those lateral rotators. And of course, it's going to shift along the colon. And then inhale back to center. Exhale, release up. Hold a moment. Give the knees a chance to release. And then crisscross opposite on top. Bend the knees toward the chest. Dorsiflex the feet, hold ankles or heels, and pull them away from each other, opposite directions, yeah? And then if you want that little subtle twist, you drop over. I can't tell you what that does to the stretch in the butt. It's pretty big, but it's really great for you. And especially for those who have to sit a lot. And then back to center on the inhale. Exhale. Let's lower the feet down. I just want to give those knees, hips a break. And we're going to just do a little windshield wiper in and out, in and out. And now we're going to roll over onto the side. I'm just going to adjust myself. I want to see here where I am with the camera. And we're going to come into child's pose, balasana. But what if you have the knee issues? You insert the towels if you want. You could also, for balasana, use your blocks with one underneath your butt and one underneath your forehead. This will all keep you elevated, so make it kinder on your knees. I'm going to, as much as I pull my hips back, I'm lengthening the chest forward. And lastly, lowering the forehead. Now, I'm just going to be careful because of my eyeglasses, but I would prefer that your forehead do be down. I'm going to put the chin down. Now, I'm going to tie in the concept of parsva, side or flank. Walk the arms over, bring the torso over onto my outside thigh. And breathe. Inhale, walk it to center. Exhale, take it over to the opposite thigh. And then coming back to center, I'm going to slide the legs out and we're going to come into Sphinx pose. So with Sphinx, you want to have your palms flat. If you know downward facing dog, it's like downward facing dog hands. You're lining up wrists to elbows to shoulders. None of this stuff, none of that. I need the head up, no slouching. I'm reaching back through the big toes, lengthening, pulling the heart center forward, up and back. The head is lifted. Holding here. Now, if you want to take this a little deeper, I'm going to slide back just a little bit and lift the arms, eyes of the elbow creases facing the ceiling. No slouching. Breath in and out. And then slowly lower down onto the belly. Now, from here, I'm going to ask you to airplane your arms, cup your fingertips, lift your body off the floor. If it's too much, if your feet are contracting, you can do this. Why not? Or you can point. And you can lift the arms as well. Gluteals working, hamstrings, back erectors. Inhale, lift a teeny bit higher. Exhale, take it back down. You can turn your head in either direction. And I'm just going to watch the microphone. You can bend the knees and windshield wiper your legs from side to side. And always turn the head in the opposite direction as well. Then we lower down. Now, this is up to you or not if you want to do this. But you can also take it into upward facing dog. And then from here, we come into embryo pose this time. And you can put a towel behind your knees. You can come forward like this. It's up to you how you want to do this. Lengthen the arms out or bring the arms alongside. And then finally, I'm going to come onto my back. And we're preparing for our final relaxation, Shavasana, corpse pose. If you see cat hairs flying off of me, forgive me, please. Now, one thing I would like to do with you, because this is a really nice way to relax the abdominal organs and intestines before the actual final relaxation, though you might want to complete it in this pose. This is your call, all right? So bend the knees, take your block. Level 1, it's going to be perpendicular to the wall in front of you. Lift the butt, place the block underneath your sacrum. The sacrum is kind of like an upside down triangle at the lower back. And you want to put that block directly there. You can stay like this in supported bridge because this is very relaxing as well. Or you can then bring the legs out in front and you can tie in more of a stretch now here too for the hip flexor area, quadriceps, even up into the lower abdomen. You can relax here. You can play with this with the arms up and overhead. Let me put my glasses back on. Forgot I took them off. You can do this kind of thing. So if you do this, this is like doing a reclining supported staff pose. So it would be Salamba for supported, Supta reclining, Dandasana staff pose. But it's also a nice way to release from the forward bending because I am in a bit of a back bend here, right? A spine extension. And now I'm going to release this, lift the butt up, slide the block out. You pull the belly button in to roll down upper back middle back. Now, technically, I'm not at the floor yet. A lot of times people drop their butt first. Don't let it happen. Get that lower back down first, and then the butt. And then please put the towel back if you have it removed for hypertension, vertigo, or GERD. And now from here, we're going to bring the legs out in front. And I want you to stretch your arms and your legs away from each other in a full body stretch it, maybe wiggle it a little bit. And then you can let it go. Bringing the arms alongside of you, puff up the chest to let the body release into Shavasana, your corpse pose. Release, relax, and allow your body to sink into the earth. And then bringing the palms together at the heart, expressing gratitude and appreciation to our bodies for working so hard for us, expressing gratitude and appreciation toward each other, where we've come together to share our practice with each other. And once again, thanking Amy for the platform in order to do so. The light and spirit within me honors the light and spirit within you. And this translates into the word namaste. And at the end of each class, we bid each other namaste. And that's what we have for you today, Amy.
Namaste.
Thank you. Namaste. Appreciate that.
It was beautiful. Well, I can imagine that all of that twisting and all the poses. That would definitely get the job done.
Oh, trust me. I told you before the show, folks, I had practiced this last night and it was pretty much on an empty stomach. And then I ate. And about 20 minutes later, Mother Nature said, get inside. And that's what I did.
Okay, so we have a few questions for you.
Okay, let's do it.
He said, can any of these poses be done while seated on the toilet?
I could think of what I would do on the toilet is the self-massage.
Okay.
I wouldn't move around on the toilet. I don't know anybody's ability to sit upright for a long time. A lot of times the toilet doesn't, you don't have arm rails. I don't know the situation. But on the toilet, I would self-massage and get that activated.
Okay, well, that's a good, so how about any of the seated, twisted kind of things?
You can do stuff in a chair. I would not do anything on a toilet. The bathroom is one of the unsafest places for people with falls. And I am talking about falling off the commode as well.
Yeah.
So that's why. But that self-massage, there are times I'm in there, okay, baby, let's go, and I'm doing that. So I highly recommend that for you, Sandy.
Okay, great. Well, we can tell you to rewatch this and find the self-massage portion, and that'll be helpful.
Yeah.
What do you think about when you first wake up in the morning, doing anything while you're in bed before
Absolutely. Knees to chest.
Knees to chest.
Yeah. I have a video on my channel that is move and stretch before you get out of bed. I have a whole video on things that they can do before they set their feet down on the floor.
Yeah. That sounds like a wonderful routine to do because it's so important. You've been laying basically pretty still for quite a number of hours.
That's right.
And even especially for those who can't get on the floor, this
That's
is an
right.
opportunity to be laying down and getting some really good stretches. So not just stretching out their bodies, but also maybe starting up that digestion
That's right.
routine that
Because
needs to get started. Yeah.
exactly. And on purpose, I built in that consideration of I want them to get the act of peristalsis kicked in gear, and it's a much safer approach than doing anything in the bathroom type stuff. You can be on your bed. The other thing too, Amy, is for certain conditions of the feet, like plantar fasciitis.
Mm.
People put their feet down and it's, if I get them moving their ankles and pointing and flexing and rotating, and the feet are going with you and the toes are going with you before you put your foot down, that's going to exponentially decrease that kind of a problem.
Very good.
So it's move. I believe it's called move and stretch before you get out of bed.
Okay. Well, JJ said, Angela, my knees seem really tight, like they feel even better when I'm moving. Is this
That's
a
right.
good stretch for me to do daily?
Yoga is something you can do daily, JJ, for sure. Yeah, and tight knees. Well, there's a whole bunch of different causes of that, right? But you are noticing that movement helps decrease it. And the reason for that is when we're moving, and Amy and I have discussed this before, you're bringing your blood to the areas. You're bringing oxygen. So sometimes when you feel or hear a snap, crackle, pop going on inside, it's not always arthritis. It's those little bubbles, okay, from the oxygen going on. And also we're transporting water and nutrients to your joints. So it's extremely important that if a joint feels tight, move it. Don't rest it, move it, but be gentle with the movement, and then you can build up the movement. I hope that helps you, JJ. But yes, yoga can be done daily.
Okay, well, that sounds good. I think she popped into.
She had another question.
Yeah, she actually said she wanted to clarify that the one stretch where you pulled the meniscus to stretch it with the leg tucked in.
Okay, so okay, you're talking about this one, JJ, the Janu Shirshasana setup, right? Okay, so I told you what to do for this knee, right? We can pull and stretch, but if you have a pre-existing knee issue, I would not mess around with this. I would put this like so. My lint is falling off. And you can do it like this, so it keeps that knee open more. Here's the other thing you would do is you would inch this foot further down. Now, when that starts to happen, when you're inching the foot further down, look what pops up. So I want space at the knee, but I don't want this thing hanging up in midair. Boom, support it. Level 1, 2, or 3, whatever you need. But you want to support it so the block is steady and the joint is supported.
I love that. That's a really great hack.
Yeah, there's a couple of things you can do to figure out how to work around this stuff.
Okay.
And those were good questions, JJ, by the way. They were smart questions.
Yeah. I want to make sure if anybody else had a question, because she actually had another one and I didn't want to not give anybody else a turn. But okay. Well, but they're good questions.
Yeah.
Is it better to do yoga in the morning or evening or both? And do you have a beginner yoga on your channel?
Oh, gosh, yes. Yes, to beginner yoga. It's almost, I showed, this was beginner's yoga today, with the exception of showing for those people who are viewing this that they might be at another level. I wanted to give them options of where to take poses. But all of this is designed so that you can do, this is beginner's yoga. This is nothing advanced at all. Just maybe take 1 or 2 postures at a time, and then you add on to it, right? But the channel has a lot of yoga classes there. We have yoga done in a chair as well for those who must be in a chair. But, Amy and I feel that it's important to view a chair as a tool for health, not restriction.
Right, exactly. And you've done a few chair exercises, yoga and otherwise on
Yeah,
my well.
we've done, that's right.
Yeah.
We've done hip mobility as well, because that gets very challenged. Mobility, when I use the word mobility, folks, it's regarding joints. Flexibility is regarding muscles, right? So of course, if I'm thinking about, well, what are the movements of the joint, then those muscles are going to go along with the ride, right? With the movements. So therefore, they're going to gain flexibility as well.
Okay. Well, it looks, I'm just looking to
We've
see.
got it all covered.
Yeah,
Okay.
I have to check on Instagram because sometimes
No
people ask
problem.
a question on Instagram.
Yo,
So
Amy's over there working hard. She's doing yoga of the controls, you know. Inhale, push that button. Exhale, turn on that screen.
oh, but it's so nice to see our Green Warrior community gather in all the different platforms, because
Yeah,
we're on
no,
Facebook and Instagram, and we're also on YouTube. So, but
beautiful.
Instagram, we're not able to always see their comments, so I have to pop on over there sometimes and just make sure. So I think that we have it covered, and
Okay.
I really want to thank you for this. So why don't you please tell us where we can find you? We talked about a little bit about your YouTube channel, but tell us about some more.
Oh, well, thank you very much. I really appreciate this. I do have several announcements to make. And one, this is my first broadcast of announcing this. I am associated now with PCRM, Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine, with them when they come down here to Fort Lauderdale for Breast Cancer Awareness Month to an event. I am one of the vendors now at that event, and I will be giving chair massage demonstrations. And it's an event where PCR connected with the local Fort Lauderdale government and the local, I think it's the local high schools. They'll have their bands, they're performing and stuff. And I
Isn't
will,
it bang your drum? Isn't it bang your
yes,
drum? Isn't that what
right?
yeah.
Bang your drum. Thank you. I appreciate it. And it's on October 12th. And you can just Google that. And I'm going to be sending out promos on it as well. I'm excited, Amy, because my logo is on there. And when they go to the logo, it takes them straight to the website. You know, there's 6 vendors altogether. Myself, PCRM, SoFlo Vegans is also one of the vendors, and then 3 others. I don't know who they are, and but I'm just happy for that, and I'm really excited to participate in this because I really enjoy giving out chair massages, and it's a way to spread the word about what I do locally in the Fort Lauderdale area. Is I do on-site massage therapy, and it's typically Swedish deep tissue massage, but I also do geriatric massage and palliative care massage. And as far as, of course, also with my work as a trainer and yoga instructor, you can reach me on by way of the contact form on my website, which is boomerandbeyondwellness.com. Thank you, Amy. And I do offer personal training, 60-minute sessions. I offer 30-minute consulting sessions. However, I do have to say, I do not discuss anybody's personal exercise regime, nothing like that. I only discuss that with folks who are personal training clients. And then I have 10-minute sessions, which we cover the Have It Your Way workout series, where you're going to work one exercise at a time, your pace and whatever exercises you choose. And also to inform your folks that they are invited to subscribe to my free monthly newsletter. And if you subscribe as a thank you, you will receive a link to a specific workout that I designed for the newsletter subscribers. So it's exclusive to you folks. And you can find that on my website at the subscribe tab. So it's boomerandbeyondwellness.com/subscribe. And lastly, don't forget, subscribe to my YouTube channel, because my channel is all about, well, I nicknamed it the Chronic Concerns Corner. So I cover all of these different chronic issues from a physical perspective, and I offer you all different approaches on how you can get the most out of your work safely and effectively. So thank you, Amy. That's very sweet. I really appreciate it.
Well, you really offer so much value, and you have so many free things on your YouTube channel that you've just given so much content, and you've been on my broadcast so many times with so many different exercises, and everything that you do is just so well thought out and so helpful. So I want everybody to know about it, because
well, thank you. The YouTube channel isn't my name. It is Boomer and Beyond Wellness Boomer and Beyond Wellness as well. But I also want to let people know about the platforms that I actually work for, whole food, plant-based platforms that are helping people transition from the SAD diet to whole food, plant-based, and they value exercise on these platforms. So this would be Timmery Hagenberger's The Foodie Bar Way of Life. She has a 7-day free trial, and also Feel Fabulous Over 40, and they, for $9, offer 30 days where you can try out the whole platform. And within that 30-day period, I give a live Zoom class as well with them. So I'm very proud of those associations, because they really, like Amy does, they really value and understand the connection between the whole food plant-based diet and that diet supporting the ability to be able to weight lift, do yoga. Like I said, I'm going to be 67. I have no plans on stopping any of this. I could care less. I just keep going. And it's the food, that's right, Amy, that allows me recovery. And I'm going to tell you now, tonight I have a couple of webinars I'm going to be participating in, but as an audience person live, I'm going to be lifting weights later. So I have the energy to do all of it. And it's because of all of them, blending all of the lifestyle practices, but in particular, the food and the exercise.
Yep, absolutely. Just move.
Just move, kids. Purposeful movement. Purposeful movement. You get to decide what that adjective means.
Well, Green Warrior, please click like for Angela to show your appreciation for what she did for us today and all the other times that she's been on the broadcast, because I sure appreciate it. And I also wanted to just thank you, Angela, for sharing your expertise and guiding us through this gentle yoga for constipation. Because, I mean, you have such great insights and techniques, and you're just incredibly helpful for our Green Warriors that are looking to improve their digestive health naturally today, especially. That was so very nice.
Thank you so much, Amy. I appreciate it.
So, Angela, what's your final take-home message for our Green Warriors today?
You know, relax. Take some moments of self-care to relax. Because, you know, I have visions of people, you know, when they have to go into the bathroom, it's just like, oh, God, here we go. I have to do battle. You know, you don't need to do battle. If you drink your water and take your moments to breathe and take some time for self-care, doesn't always have to be hitting the weights, folks. I must do yoga. I must do yoga, because otherwise this brain just, and that all helps the process of the body to cleanse. So take some moments to relax.
Mm-hmm. Well, Green Warrior, tell us what you're going to remember from today's presentation. And I also wanted to thank Just Task Boys. She did the countdown and the promos. She's always trying to promote this broadcast to share with other people. And I really appreciate all that she does. And Just Task Boys, please tell us who's coming up next.
60-year-old Mitch Gill lost 78 pounds, transformed his health, and now rides his bike through a plant-based lifestyle. Join us to hear about his health journey Wednesday, October 9th, 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific, on Be Green with Amy Live.
I really want to thank you, Green Warrior, for joining us today. Your engagement and support make these discussions meaningful and impactful. I hope you're feeling inspired to take a closer look at your food choices and also your physical fitness choices, and make positive changes for your health and well-being. Remember, every bite we take is an opportunity to nourish our bodies and become the healthiest versions of ourselves. And please stay tuned for more empowering content. Please subscribe to my channel, check out Angela's social media as well, and share our message with others who you think can benefit, because together as Green Warriors, we can make a meaningful difference in the world. And as a special thank you to all of you, I am offering you 5 free recipes. If you go to my website, begreenwithamy.com/join, go ahead over there and I will send them all to you a few days in between, of course, so that you can have some time to check them out. And now I would like to invite all of you and Angela to go ahead and take your right hand and grab your left shoulder, and take your left hand and grab your right shoulder. Now squeeze, because that's a hug from me to you, and from me to you, Angela.
And from me to you, Amy.
And if you would like to join me and Angela, we're going to be doing my tagline. You can type it in the comments as we say it. Are you ready, Angela?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Well, remember, until I see all of you again, be strong.
That's right, Amy.
I only do this with you.
You got the guns now, baby.
Be well and be green.
Green! Yay, Amy! Namaste, everybody.
Namaste, everybody. Thank you, Angela. Thank you, Green Warriors.
Looking for really tasty recipes that are SOS free? No sugar, oil, or salt. How can it taste good? Well, if you like flavor, then you'll love this Be Green with Amy recipe ebook. Get your copy today. Click on the link in the show notes. Be strong, be well, and be green.